If it weren't for pests, just about every lawn would be perfect. All you'd have to do is sow some grass seed, water it well, and enjoy it. But unfortunately, there are pests that attack turf grasses. Weeds, insects, and disease can all damage the health and beauty of a lawn. And some are hard to recognize and control. Well, that's where you come in. As a professional lawn care technician, you're in the best position to identify and treat turf pests. The most prevalent lawn pests are weeds. Any plant is a weed if it grows where it's not wanted. Crabgrass is a weed in any lawn, but Bermuda grass, a wonderful warm weather turf, is a weed when it appears in a fescue or bluegrass lawn. One of your jobs is to get rid of unwanted plants in the lawns you maintain. And to do so, you must be able to recognize plant pests and understand how they grow. This ability will guide you in selecting the best control methods. Before you can control weeds, you must know something about their life cycle. Annual weeds are plants with a one-year life cycle. They grow from seed, mature, and produce new seeds for the next generation in a single season. There are summer annuals, like crabgrass, which sprouts in the spring, and winter annuals, like henbit, which grows from seeds that sprout in the fall. Perennials are plants which live more than 2 years and may live indefinitely. Simple perennials, like the dandelion, normally reproduce by seed, but any root pieces left in the ground can produce new plants. Bulbous perennials, like wild garlic or wild onion, reproduce by seeds above ground and bulbs below ground. Creeping perennials, like ground ivy, produce seed, but also grow from stems which produce roots either above or below the ground. Biennials are plants with a 2-year life cycle. The first year, they grow from seed and produce a heavy root and compacted cluster of leaves. The second year, they mature, produce seed, and then die. An example is bull thistle. Weeds are classified not only by life cycle, but also by their shapes. Most weeds are either grasses, broadleaves, or sedges. Grasses have a single leaf as they emerge from seed. They have narrow, upright leaves. Nimbleweed and Bermuda grass in a bluegrass lawn are examples. Broadleaf weeds have 2 leaves as they grow from seed, and mature plants have broad leaves with net-like veins. Dandelions and plantain are examples of broadleaf weeds. Sedges are similar to grasses, except that they have triangular stems and 3 rows of leaves. Yellow and purple nutsedge are examples. Effective control of weeds requires that you can identify them and understand their life cycle. Annual weeds are best controlled by a pre-emergent herbicide. These chemicals are applied before the seedlings of annual weeds emerge and form a barrier to prevent their growth. You must know when the annual weeds in your area are about to sprout so you can apply pre-emergent herbicides at the proper time. Pre-emergent herbicides are selective. That is to say, they prevent weeds from sprouting, but do not harm growing plants. In addition to selective pre-emergent herbicides that control grasses and broadleaf weeds before they emerge from seed, there are post-emergent herbicides that can provide control of these after they are already established and growing in a lawn. These herbicides can be applied to a lawn to control broadleaf weeds, and in some cases, undesirable grass weeds such as crabgrass, but not the desirable lawn grasses. Broadleaf weed herbicides are most effective when applied at the time the broadleaf weeds are actively growing. Other post-emergent herbicides are non-selective. This means they will kill any plant on which they are applied. Non-selective post-emergent herbicides cannot be used to control weeds in an established lawn, but are used where no growth of grass or weeds is desired. It's not always easy to identify a weed pest in a lawn, but help is available through materials your company can provide, reference works, and by asking your county extension agent. The more you know about weeds, the more likely it is you'll be able to control them. Knowledge is also your best weapon to fight turf diseases. For disease to occur, 3 conditions must be met. First, the disease organism, usually a fungus, must be present. Second, a suitable host plant must be available. And third, the conditions promoting disease must be present. If any one of these conditions is absent, there will be no disease. This is important because some diseases occur in cool, damp weather and some during hot, dry conditions. Some diseases thrive in nitrogen-starved soils, but some like heavy doses of fertilizer. Understanding what conditions promote the development of a particular disease will help you identify the presence of the disease itself. The symptoms of many of these diseases are very similar, and diagnosis is not easy. It takes experience and very often a microscope to distinguish between many turf diseases. Your county extension agent can test samples you've brought from the field for precise identification, and precise identification is the only way that you can be sure to apply the proper controls. Proper cultural practices are frequently the best defense against disease. Often, if a disease is promoted by unusual weather conditions, you need only wait until normal conditions return and the disease will recede. Applying the correct amounts of nitrogen to the lawn will also help control diseases. Proper watering, mowing, and dethatching practices often also help. If diseases must be treated chemically, a fungicide is applied. Fungicides are effective when you know and understand what conditions promote diseases and when they are likely to occur. It's important to be aware of the particular disease problems for your area and the conditions that favor them. Insects are the third category of pests that damage turf grasses. And again, knowledge is the key to control. Identifying the insect pest and understanding its life cycle will tell you which insecticide to apply and when it will be most effective. Or in some cases, control can be accomplished by recommending that a different species of grass be planted, one that is naturally resistant to a particular insect. One of the most common and most troublesome insect pests for cool season grasses is the white grub. These grubs are the immature or larval stages of several kinds of beetles, including June beetles, May beetles, Japanese beetles, and masked chafers. The life cycle of the grub illustrates why you must know about insects if you're to control them. These beetles lay their eggs a few inches beneath the soil, usually in late June or early July in many parts of the United States. In a few weeks, the grubs hatch and begin feeding on grass roots. The root injury reduces the plant's ability to withstand the hot, dry weather of late summer. Grubs rapidly grow to full size and then move deeper into the ground to overwinter until they emerge again the following June to begin the cycle again. The best time for treatment is just after the grubs hatch, when they are still small and their feeding damage is light. The exact timing depends on the species and the climate in your area. Whether it's mole crickets, sod webworm, armyworm, or any other turf insect problem, control will also depend on proper identification and understanding of how the insect develops. It's obvious that a lawn care professional must know about the weed, disease, and insect pests that can attack turf grasses. Because these pests follow predictable cycles, it's possible to know when and under what conditions certain pests thrive in each region of the country. Your supervisor should advise you when certain pest problems can be anticipated so you can be on the lookout for the telltale signs of pest damage. Identifying lawn pests and understanding their life cycles will help you provide the proper treatments at the right time and help your customers maintain a healthy, beautiful lawn.